Welcome to the Delaware County Solid Waste Management Center, where we have a very unique, highly integrated system to manage your waste materials. We're going to show you the systems that we have in place to help manage the materials that you generate at home. The Delaware County Solid Waste Management Center, located in Walton, New York, is one of 9 areas where you can dispose of your waste materials in Delaware County. We ask that when you're at home that you separate your materials to deliver to one of our facilities. Separating out your recycling material properly is very, very important, as it allows us to conserve landfill space so we can continue to serve you long into the future.
This is the entrance of our landfill and recycling center. We have a scale house up here where we ask everybody to actually stop and let us know what type of material they have, whether it's a chargeable item or where it actually has to get or get sorted out. We have a convenience wall here that's kind of like the transfer stations that we have in our other 9 facilities. We separate out our furniture, our scrap metals, our bottles and cans. We have our cardboard, household waste garbage, which is your food material and stuff like that. C&D box, and actually a clean wood box that hopefully we can use to make like wood chips and everything like that we can use in our composting facility. We also carry waste tires. We have electronics for TVs, computers, that type of stuff. We also take newspapers and clothing boxes that are through the fire departments and other organizations. They benefit them. We take our residential oils, less than 5 gallons at a time, we'll take from our residents only. Antifreeze, clean oil and stuff like that. It cannot have any kind of gasoline or anything that would be highly flammable. We also take our air conditioners, refrigerators, dehumidifiers. We have a storage over there for that where we actually evac all the freon out of them, and then we scrap metal the metal that comes within them. We take contaminated soils, concrete, pretty much anything we can that will help our public around this area. This is our household garbage here, mostly kitchen garbage, food type materials that actually break down, because we do send this down to our composting facility so it can be turned into compost and dirt to something that we can actually sell or use. This is an example of some of the stuff that we don't want to go through our composting facility. This is our household garbage. We want that to be as clean as it can so it actually breaks down into compost. You can see here that somebody has thrown like a piece of a shovel in there. There's some metal in there. This is stuff that can actually cause problems down in the composting facility with belts and conveyors and everything else. We want everything that goes in here that will actually break down into compost and make a usable material for us and to actually ship out. This here is our construction debris and bulk items. This is stuff that actually does come out of your household too, so not everything is household garbage. That does come into construction. This would have furniture sometimes. It will have your hoses and everything, plates. You can see old clothes and everything that might be saturated that can't go into the clothes box. We separate this out of our household garbage because we do not want it to go through our composting facility. On our convenience wall, we ask everybody to separate the recyclables and cardboards and papers and everything else pre-sorted before it actually goes down to our recycling area. It makes everything so much easier down there and faster when we're actually going through this. It's less material we actually have to separate down there if it's done here first. This actually lessens the cost that goes onto our taxpayers. This is our recycling center here where we deal with everything from our plastics, cardboards, papers, and everything else. We actually have 4 tipping floors here that we try to use and sort everything out. This is our single stream side. There's cardboard, there's actually plastics, newspapers, and almost everything in here. We don't want metals, Christmas lights, hoses, anything that might be considered C&D type material or debris that way. This is our second tipping floor here where we actually have just clean plastics that you'd use in your normal household, your milk jugs, your cleaning supplies, stuff like that. It lessens the separation we have to do on the rest of the facility. This is our third tipping floor here where we actually try to bring in our clean cardboard. This cardboard actually gets break down into fiber where you can actually make more cardboard again. And if you look at your cardboard, you'll see 50% recyclable material. It's constantly getting reused and reused. So we don't have to actually cut down more trees to make more cardboard. We're actually using it the way we have to. This is our fourth tipping floor. This is where we actually bring in clean newspaper to be baled. You can see that we open these doors, we can shove it directly onto a belt that goes up to our balers. This is our single stream tipping floor. Through here we'd actually load something to our BFD, which is over on this side. But it actually is a separating and a leveling machine that keeps everything going out through our facility at one constant flow. So it makes it easier for everybody to see everything they're going through and sorting up there. You'll see that comes up here, it does a big 90 and it turns up to where our pre-sort area is. Pre-sort is where we try to remove the stuff that we don't want to go throughout the facility. It might be metal, pots and pans, stuff like that that we don't want to go any further and actually hurt any of the equipment that we use. We actually grab our 5-cent pieces that we can, your 5-cent returnables, and we send that out to an actual recycling center just like your normal public would take to get their 5-cent piece. This is our OCC screen up here where you see the single stream that's coming through. This will actually separate the cardboard from the plastics. The cardboards will come over the top and fall out this belt. The plastics and everything will go up to our sort area where we can do containers and everything else. There's actually a glass breaker underneath this too that breaks up some of the glass and makes it finer so we can land that to our landfill or market if possible. This is our ballistic separator up here. It actually separates the paper from the plastics as it's going throughout the facility. It separates it. So the fiber will go out on this room right here where we can check the quality of the paper, pull any plastics that might get stuck into it or anything like that, get rid of that. We actually pull off all the tin and everything before it goes into the plastic area where they sort all the plastics out. It's an automated facility. It's a big magnet, just keeps them turning, and it pulls off all your tins. It could be your coffee cans, soup cans and stuff like that, but it automatically gets pulled so we don't have to deal with it by hand. This is our sort area here where you actually separate all our plastics. You can see that we have bins going down through here, 4s and 5s, Pete's, colored HDPE, natural HDPE. Somebody stands up here and throws this all off manually by hand, separates it all by eyes and knowledge of what it all is. At the end of our sort area, we actually have an eddy current. It actually pulls off your aluminum, your light, beer cans, soda cans, and everything like that. Drops down into a pit here and then dries into a circle, goes over to a bin over here. So it's all separated and we ship it out. Our final baler, this is where we bale up all the plastics that we have already sorted and everything, but this is where it actually comes out of our sort room up there. We separate it in bins and then we can bale it right out here in each individual product that it is. Here you'll see where we actually separate the plastic bags. This is where people bring in the recyclables and cardboard. They'll actually open the bags up, set it in the separated boxes up there. This is a vertical baler that we actually use. We pull out plastics that we get from the farmer, which would be like your marshmallows that everybody sees out in the fields that hold the hay. We actually take that in here and we recycle this. It could be a very problematic material for us to get rid of, but we do try to service our area as much as possible to make everything cheaper for the farmers so they're not paying to get rid of something. We're trying to help out our community as much as possible. One of the most dangerous things we have that come up through here is actually sharps, needles and everything from diabetics or whatever. They will come in loose and they'll actually come in like milk jugs or containers that have tops onto them and then throw it into our recycling area, and then it goes through our whole facility. We really, really, really do not want the public to get rid of the stuff this way.
We have a unique process here in Delaware County. Every year we do about 22,000 ton of MSW, or our municipal solid waste, as feedstock. In addition to that, we do about 3,000 tons of biosolids per year. We have a tipping room floor where the trucks come in and they deposit the MSW into a pit. From that pit, we have a crane that we go and we sort through the material to see if there's any bulky material or ropes or anything that's going to be a problem for our system. From there, it's loaded loaded onto a conveyor belt where it enters our bioreactor. The bioreactor is a large 14-foot around, 160-foot long rotating drum. This drum can weigh up to 200 tons on any given day. For the last 15 years, it's spun every day. The material is held in that drum for about 3 days. While it's in there, it begins to degrade. All the plastic bags are separated. The material that you produce in your home that can be compostable will begin the composting process there. Within the bioreactor, temperatures can reach the 130 degrees, which is a temperature at which pathogens become destroyed. After 3 days in the bioreactor, it goes into our primary trommel, where the material is sorted through the trommel. Anything smaller than 1 1/8 inch will fall through the holes and go into our maturation area. The material that's sorted out of that primary trommel is residual and will end up in our landfill. In the maturation area, we have 14 bays that are loaded. The bays are equipped with aeration from the bottom, and there's water that can also be added to the top. As the bays are loaded, you need to move that material down the bays. For that, we use an agitator that's set up on these tracks. It automatically runs down the tracks, turns the material over, as well as pulls the whole bay back towards a conveyor belt, which then moves the material to secondary processing. It's an enclosed facility. The compost itself has a very high temperature, so it keeps a very constant temperature inside the room. The maturation area, it'll take around 60 days to move from one end of the bay to the other. The secondary processing removes any of your bulky, heavy items, such as bottle caps or marbles, any wood chips or bones that aren't composted the whole way, removes that material. And then it goes into our secondary trommel, which removes any material that's larger than 1/8 of an inch. And after that, comes out into our storage area, and it's pretty much a finished product at that point. So we work with the United States Composting Council, and yearly we have a test that meets all their standards of testing assurance. Our product tests out very well. We have very little residual foreign objects in there, hardly any. We have 0 weed seeds in our product because it's all stored inside. Our customers like the product in that it's very lightweight, it's easily transportable, and it really makes things grow. Any vegetation that you're trying to get established, those seeds that you put in there, that's the vegetation that you will have. The system that we have is highly automated. It's fully enclosed, so we're able to regulate air, moisture, temperature, all the factors that lead into a good compost. As you can tell from our Compex processes, we move a lot of material every day. We're asking that the public sort their material and follow our systems in the best way that they can. When you sort your materials properly and utilize our systems, you save the taxpayers money and you make our job so much easier. In saving us money, you allow us to continue to function for as long as possible. We only have so much landfill space available to us. On our website, you'll find a list of prohibited materials. These things include hazardous materials, liquids of any kind, light bulbs, radioactive material, and so on. When you generate these materials, we'd like to provide you with a disposal option. That would be Clean Sweep. Once a year, we have a household hazardous waste disposal day. See our website for details. When visiting our facility, please don't be afraid to ask questions. We're here to help and like to provide you as much information as we can. To learn more about our recycling and waste management operations, look to our social media account and our county website for further information.